Welcome to the digital age, where screens have become a central part of our daily lives. Did you know that children today spend an average of 7 hours a day on screens, not including schoolwork? That's more time than they spend sleeping. A study from the American Academy of Pediatrics reveals that over 40% of children under the age of 8 have their own tablet, and many of them use it without any parental guidance. These numbers are startling. As parents, we want to nurture and guide our children, but the convenience of screens often pulls us away from meaningful interaction. In fact, a recent report shows that 1 in 4 kids says they would rather spend time with their devices than with their parents. But it doesn't have to be this way. This video series will explore how screen time is replacing real parenting and what you can do about it. We'll dive into the hidden costs of relying on screens, share strategies to regain control, and offer practical tips to reconnect with your children. So, if you're ready to take a stand against the digital distractions and reclaim your family time, stay tuned. Together, we'll navigate this new parenting landscape and discover ways to engage in a more meaningful, screen-free life. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Digital Babysitter Dilemma. Screens are everywhere. From tablets to TVs, kids are spending more time than ever in front of them. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, kids between the ages of 8 and 12 spend an average of 4 to 6 hours per day on screens. For teens, that number jumps to up to 9 hours a day. That's a lot of time being spent on devices instead of interacting with family. Parents, whether they mean to or not, often use screens as babysitters. When you're busy or exhausted, handing over a tablet seems like the easy way to keep kids entertained. The problem? Those moments add up, and suddenly, real interaction is replaced by digital distractions. A study from the University of Michigan found that many parents underestimate how much screen time their kids are getting. Here's the dilemma. Screens offer instant peace and quiet, but it's temporary. The long-term effects can be damaging. Kids start to expect constant entertainment and lose the ability to be bored, which is when creativity happens. According to Dr. Richard Freed, author of Wired Child, technology has created a divide between parents and kids, making it harder to form meaningful connections. But what's the solution? Start by setting simple limits. You don't need to ban screens entirely. Instead, create tech-free zones, like at the dinner table or during car rides. Another strategy is to introduce screen swaps. For every 30 minutes of screen time, kids can do an offline activity for the same amount of time. Keep it fun. Reading, crafts, or even a board game can become part of the new routine. Chapter 2. The Disappearing Bond. Connection versus distraction. Screens are sneaky. You may not notice it at first, but they can quietly erode the bond between parents and children. Instead of asking, "How was your day?" it's easy to let your kid watch their favorite YouTube show while you scroll on your phone. Before you know it, screen time becomes a buffer, keeping you from connecting with each other. The National Institutes of Health, NIH, warns that excessive screen time can hurt a child's emotional development. Kids learn emotional regulation and empathy through face-to-face interaction, and when those moments are replaced by screens, they miss out on crucial life skills. In fact, a study from the NIH found that kids who spent more than 2 hours a day on screens scored lower on language and thinking tests. But you can reverse this trend. One powerful strategy is to create connection routines. These are small daily rituals where screens are off, and you're focused on each other. It could be a 15-minute morning chat or a walk after dinner. These little moments make a big difference in rebuilding bonds. Another tip. Use screens together. Instead of letting kids watch a show on their own, watch it with them. Talk about what you see, ask questions, and turn passive screen time into an active conversation. By doing this, you're still engaging with the content, but you're doing it in a way that fosters connection, not separation. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on parenting strategies and tips. Chapter 3. When devices teach more than parents. Have you noticed how fast kids pick up new words or habits from YouTube? Sometimes it feels like your child is learning more from a screen than from you. And in many cases, that's not too far from the truth. A survey by Common Sense Media found that 42% of kids under 8 have their own tablet. They are constantly absorbing information from their screens, but is it the right kind? The problem is that kids aren't just learning their ABCs from screens. They're learning behaviors, attitudes, and habits that can sometimes clash with what parents are trying to teach. Take this quote from The Tech-Wise Family by Andy Crouch. Every technology comes with its own way of shaping the world. If parents don't actively shape their child's learning, screens will. So, how do you take back control? One strategy is to curate what they watch. Instead of letting autoplay decide the next video, choose educational content that aligns with your family's values. Apps like PBS Kids or Khan Academy are great for this. You can even find fun, interactive shows that encourage critical thinking and problem solving. Another tip is to become your child's co-learner. If your child is fascinated by a topic they've seen online, dive deeper with them in real life. For example, if they watch a video about animals, take them to the zoo or read a book together on the subject. This bridges the gap between screen learning and real-world experience, making you an active part of their education. Chapter 4. The hidden costs of convenient parenting. Using screens to keep kids occupied might feel like a lifesaver in the moment, but there's a hidden cost to this convenience. You're not just giving them something to do, you're giving up valuable time you could be spending together. A study by the Kaiser Family Foundation found that kids between 8 and 18 spend more than 7 hours a day on entertainment media. That's nearly as much time as they spend at school. What does this mean for families? When screens are the default babysitter, kids miss out on learning essential life skills. A report by the American Psychological Association highlights that face-to-face communication is key to developing emotional intelligence. Without it, children may struggle to navigate social situations, regulate emotions, or even form strong relationships later in life. So how can parents balance convenience and connection? Start by integrating screen-light routines into your day. For example, during breakfast, leave devices in another room and talk about plans for the day. This gives kids a chance to practice conversation and builds those much-needed emotional connections. Another great strategy is to use tech as a tool, not a replacement. If you need 20 minutes to get dinner ready, let kids play with interactive, educational apps that spark creativity, like building a digital Lego set. This way, screen time becomes more purposeful and less passive. The goal isn't to eliminate technology but to guide its use so that it complements, rather than replaces, parenting. Chapter 5. The battle for your child's attention. Today, parents aren't just competing with the outside world for their child's attention, they're up against endless content designed to keep kids glued to screens. Platforms like YouTube and TikTok use sophisticated algorithms to feed viewers content tailored to keep them watching longer. In fact, according to the Pew Research Center, 81% of parents with kids aged 11 or younger say their children watch videos on YouTube, and 46% of these parents say their child uses the platform daily. This constant flow of entertainment impacts kids' attention spans. A 2020 study by the American Academy of Pediatrics showed that excessive screen time, especially from fast-paced content, can reduce kids' ability to focus on less stimulating tasks, like reading or playing. But here's the good news: you can help your child reclaim their focus with a few simple strategies. First, make real-world experiences more engaging. Try activities that require problem-solving and creativity, like building a fort, cooking together, or even doing a family puzzle. These hands-on activities pull kids away from the passive consumption of content and help develop their attention and perseverance. Another strategy is to introduce focus practice. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes where both you and your child focus on a single activity without distractions. This could be reading, drawing, or even cleaning up toys. Over time, increasing the duration of focus helps kids learn to stay engaged, even without the instant gratification of a screen. Finally, avoid the temptation to compete with technology. Instead of trying to outdo the flashy content, embrace simplicity. Nature walks, playing catch, or even simple chores can provide a refreshing contrast to the constant buzz of digital life, reminding kids that there's more to the world than what's on their screen. If you found these strategies helpful, make sure to subscribe for more insights and tips on how to foster a nurturing and connected parenting style. Let's take this journey together.